What is going on, everybody? Mach389 here, back with another one. And right here, we have the RS4 EVO back out again. We're reviving her, bringing her back to life. But first, we're going to start with some fast, steady bearings. We're going to pop those in. We're going to start from the front end of the vehicle and work our way back. And we're going to start with the knuckles first. As you can see, the bearings are already out. So I'm going to get those bearings and we're going to pop those in. Give me 1 second. Alright guys, so I already did one side off camera. I'm going to do the other side on camera. So what you want to do is, for the smaller bearing, it's going to come inside this tube here. I don't know if the package you're going to get is going to be this way. I did get 2 smaller bearings that were outside of a tube, and it is smaller than the ones that you're going to use in the knuckle. Anyways, what you're going to do is, the smaller one is going to go on the outside. Grab your knuckle. Just push it right in. They're not directional, so you can pop it in anyway and just make sure it sits in there pretty flush. And for the inside one, what you're going to do is you're going to grab your bearing. You're going to also grab your shaft. This is the bigger bearing. Then you're going to slide it onto the shaft itself. Make sure it's seated on the shaft. Grab your knuckle and slide it right through. And give it a pull. Give it a twist. You shouldn't feel any grittiness as you spin that shaft, and you're pretty much done. So I'm going to take apart this diff case so we can do the bearings inside of there. So if you don't know to take apart this case, there's only 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when you take those apart, this shock mount is going to slide off, and you're going to be able to just pull this right apart. Alright, now that we got the knuckles done and we got the shock mount off, this basically just pulls apart. I greased it in here, so there is going to be grease in here, so I'm going to have to be careful pulling it apart. Grab it however you can and give it a wiggle. I'm trying not to get this the actual diff to fall out, because like I said, there is grease in here. I don't want it to get everywhere. Oh, I'm missing the screw at the bottom. See that? Make sure you guys pay attention. There's one more screw right at the bottom. Let me get that out. And it should just fall right apart. There we go. And we're just replacing the bearing here and the bearing here. As I said, I don't want to replace the one in here because, alright, sorry about that. I had to clear up some memory in my phone. And I was talking about not replacing the bearing here because of the grease, and I don't want to deal with that clip in there, popping that off and putting that back on. But I think we are going to change that. So there's a little E-clip in there. I'm not going to do it on camera because it's going to take up too much memory and too much time. So I'm going to pop that little clip off in there. It's covered with white lithium, so you can't really see it. I'm going to pop that off, and I'm going to try to replace that bearing. Let's see how it goes. Wish me luck, guys. Alright, guys, so I got the little E-clip out. So the easiest way to do this is to grab yourself a flathead, a magnetic one, the smallest one you can find. As you can see, there's 2 indentations. The magnet catches it, just in case if it pops off. So this is going to be a little difficult for me to show you, but as you can see, there's 2 indentations in the inside of the circle. So you're going to want to stick the flathead into one of those indentations and twist it, and it'll pop right off, and your magnetic flathead will catch it. So that's a little tip for you guys. Make sure you take that down. By the way, doesn't hurt to grab yourself a piece of white paper or napkin to put your dark parts on. As you see, I work on a dark surface, so you need something to have a good contrast on. It seems like there's 2 bearings in here. I'm not sure, but we're going to try. So get yourself a nice little pick tool. Get in here and try to grab the edge and pick it out. And don't just pull your bearing out and work it out all the way around. As as you pop this bearing out. Alright guys, so there is 2 bearings in here. There's one on the outside, one on the inside. And the one on the inside, I don't know if you can see. It's pretty dark by the way that I'm showing the camera, but it seems like you can just push it with maybe your screwdriver. Let me try not to stab myself. Oh, there it goes. And it came right out. There it is there. So make sure you replace the inner and outer bearing, if you please. I am going to actually do so. I was actually thinking it was inside the diff itself, so still a little messy. Not as messy as if I have to take that apart and, you know, get in there. So we're going to change these out. Alright, so these bearings here are the same as the smaller ones in the wheel that came inside of here. So you're just going to take your bearing. Like I said, they don't have a direction on them. And you just pop it in. The inner one is going to be a little tougher. See, it's way down there. And as you can see, it's very greasy. So what I'm going to try to do is... Alright, sorry about that. Memory filled up again, so I had to delete some things in the phone. Anyway, so to put the inner bearing in, you just want to slide it on the shaft and slide the shaft through. And then just pull it on the back side. And just make sure your bearing is seated on the inside. And make sure your outside bearing is seated as well. Alright, so let's see if we can get this. So you see the E-clip there? I basically just sat it on. I'm just going to grab my flathead, put it on top, and try to push it on. Oh, we did it. Look at that, guys. So it's not that bad. And as you can see, now that it's not greasy, hopefully you can tell, there is 2 indentations at the top of it. So you want to take your flathead and just stick it right into one of those indentations and then twist out. Don't twist this way, twist out. So no matter which way you grab, you twist so it comes off of the shaft. Twist out. If you grab over there, then you twist the opposite way. Alright guys, so doing this job, I suggest you put some gloves on if you greased it up as I did. It's a little too late for me. I had no choice but to grab the diff. This bearing here did not want to come off for some reason, so wipe that down a little. They are going to slide right over the shaft. There's going to be the bigger bearings. Take that. Give it a little wiggle. It should slide right on, just like that. And then you grab the opposite side. And you see, that one was a little harder to pop on than this one, but it still spins freely, so we have no issues there. So we're going to pop this back together, and then we'll get to the 2-speed. By the way, if your bearing carriers were extremely filthy like this one was, make sure you clean them out. You don't want your bearings to, you know, fail prematurely. Let's get this back together, and then I'll get back to you guys. I'm just trying to give you as many tips as I can, so you guys can succeed in your builds and have them running for longevity. Alright guys, the front end is complete. Now let's get to this transmission. Now to take apart this transmission, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're also probably going to want to take this off here. I'm not even sure, but let's get started. I'll be right back. Alright, due to the braking system, we did have to take off the brake arm. And this should come right apart. And this should pop right out. And the only bearings we're changing are here and here. But you are going to have to take off these couplers here. So make sure you have your Allen key to pop those off. And you have some Loctite to Loctite that back up. So let me get that done, and then we'll be right back. Alright, so after you get your couplers off, you have your 2-speed in your hand. You want to pop off your bearings. And this whole black plastic might come off. That is what your bearing is riding on, but that's not what I want to show you. What I want to show you is this little pin here. this pin, there's one on the opposite side as well. That's why I'm holding it funny. But that pin there is smaller than any pin in this vehicle, both pins. So if you lose either one of those pins, you're going to have to buy a repair kit or figure out a pin situation for those particular pins. So as you can see, if you can tell, the pin is actually hollow. So make sure you do not lose these pins here, this one or this one. Then your bearing should just pop right off. Grab your bearing, the bigger one, and slide it back on. Same thing with the opposite side. As you can see, the pin is sliding out, ready to fall out. And this one as well. So as I said, be very careful with your pins, and also be very careful that these are two different size bearing carriers, I'm gonna call them. So make sure you be mindful of that. All right, making sure not to lose your pins. Make sure you put the smaller carrier on the side with the clutch, the bigger carrier on the outside with the one-way bearing and the first speed. All right, so when you're done with the transmission, now it's time to go to the back end. Make sure you grab your pick. It's probably easier if you take it off the assembly. I'm gonna start with the front. So you wanna get in there, try to get as close to the edge as you can, and just pry it out and work your way all the way around. It's gonna take a little bit of time. As long as you work your way out, and you work your way all the way around, it should pop right out. And then on the inside, you should be able to just grab something. Let's see if this toothbrush works. Give it a push, and it'll pop right out as well. And then you're gonna need 4 bearings, 2 for one side and 2 for the opposite side. You can take your old ones and chuck them, whatever you wanna do. All right, guys, so now after you popped all your bearings from each side, you just take your new bearings and just press them right in. The rears, you might need the shaft. Oh, nope, you just push them right in. They fall right in. And if you feel like they're not seated, just grab the shaft and use the shaft to seat them all the way. So you just grab your shaft, stick it in, and give it a tug from the front, and give it a spin. And you're all set. That's it for the rear end. And now we have to get to the rear diff. So let me get these pieces off. It's going to be 4 screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as well, don't forget to screw in the bottom like we did in the front. And I don't think you have to take off this piece here, but we'll get to that when we get there. All right, so here we are in the rear end. It's literally a copy of the front end inside. It's the same exact thing. The only difference is inside of the diff, there's a spring on the front diff. So you pop these off. We're changing that bearing. And I'm also going to do the 2 in here as well. I'm going to do all that off camera since you already seen me do the front. And I'll get back to you when we're all done. All right, guys, so here we are in the final stretch. We're done with the bearings. Now I want to replace the rear bulkhead. The reason I'm replacing the bulkheads to aluminum because I feel like they're a little more solid and stable, and you don't have to worry about the bulkheads bending as much as you do if you decide to replace the arms with aluminum. One good crash with aluminum arms will bend the arms and will make them unusable. So things like the arms, the C-hubs, and the knuckles here are more for aesthetic. The knuckle, yeah, I guess you can say they're for usability because the bearings are inside and an aluminum hub would hold them a little better, but plastic is fine. I say if you want to replace anything, you replace the bulkheads. And there's a couple other things that I have replaced on the vehicle. And we'll go along that as we go through the video, or through the process of building this vehicle. I might have to do this in 2 parts just because I'm running out of space. So I'm gonna have to post this one just to get the other video done. But right now, let's just get this bulkhead set and we'll end this video here. I'm going to take out the 2 screws here. It's 2 Phillips. They're shaft screws. So you just screw them out and they're gonna come right out. Give me a second. So as you can see, I did one side already. Make sure you put this back here. That's what's gonna keep your arm from shifting around so much. So you can tighten that all the way if you want to. That way it'll hold it into place. But basically your arm just slides right into place. Then you grab your screw shaft and you slide it right in. Line it up with the aluminum bulkhead. And that's it. Just screw it down and you're all done. They don't need to be crazy tight. It's tight enough. And that. Alright guys, so sorry I'm gonna have to call it quits. I wanted to do this whole build in one sit-in, but sadly my storage is very limited, so I have to keep deleting things just to complete this video. So this might just be a bearing install video, maybe a part 1, I'm not sure. I might build the RS4 too off camera and then give you guys an overview of it. But if you stayed this long and you want to see me build a chassis on camera, let me know. I know these videos get kind of long and drawn out, but you know, they're not so much for entertainment purpose as they are for learning and just being able to teach myself and have these videos on file. So, you know, if you enjoyed it and you sat through the whole thing, thank you. I do appreciate it. You know, get out there, burn as much nitro as you can. Just have fun, guys. Don't wreck your vehicles. And when you go to rebuild them, just take your time and complete your vehicle the way you want to complete it. Don't ever let anyone tell you how to build your ride. Have fun, guys.